Welcome back to our SketchUp Pro tutorial series. We are still on our plan set 9, which is from the Harley blueprint set from Pittsco. We are now in our 5th video. We finished up our door openings and now we're going to place in our windows. And so with this plan set, it is really detailed. We have all of our schedules for our doors, our windows, all of our materials, so we know exactly how everything should be, how everything should look, all of that stuff with our door schedules and our window schedules. For example, our front door has a width of 3 feet, height of 6'9", thickness is 1 7/8 of an inch. It's a solid core door, and it even has 3 coats of marine varnish on it. So we have really detailed information on all this stuff. And so today we're going to place in our windows, very similar fashion to the way we did our doors, except for our windows, we know these center points. So we're going to mark off where all the center points are, and then put in all the widths. We obviously can't put in the heights right now because our floor is down on the ground. There's 2 different ways you can really put in windows. You can put them in like we just did our doors on the ground before we pull up the walls. That's the way I tend to like doing it, because then everything is laid out and we pull up the walls, then we can just do the height then. Or you can bring up the walls and mark off each window that way. We do have 6 different windows, so it wouldn't save us too much time by going and copying, pasting the rectangles. That's another method, especially if you have a lot of windows that are the same. But for this particular house, most of the windows are one-offs. Maybe there's 2 windows of the same, so it's not going to really speed up our process. But if you do have a house that has like a bunch of windows, like our like the very first house we did the school year with the salt box house, there's a lot of windows that are the same, so it's really easy to copy and paste the rectangle instead of doing it this method. So that's something to keep in mind, how things are. There may be better ways to go about doing things depending on the project. So start off, let's go ahead and we're just going to go and work clockwise using our tape measure like always. This first one going from the outside edge of our house, we're going to go 7'3", and I'm just going to put a marker at that point, and I'm going to put a marker where all the windows are to begin with, and then we'll go from there. So the next point goes from, so we're going to put a marker in the center of this wall. So we're going to go 6 foot. That makes the marker there, and then from that mark we're going to go over 2'6", and that is our bathroom window. Over here we can go from the right side. So from the right side edge of the house, we're going to go over 3'6". That centers on that closet. It's a small little window in the closet. Rotating over to the back of the house, we need to put in marker for the center of this wall, which is 6'3". And then from that marker over, we're going to go 3'8". And then from that one, we're going to go over 4'3". And that's our 2 windows on this side of the house. So let's go ahead and mark those. To the right side of the house, so we're on the right side now, We have a few windows. This is more like a office computer room. So and that one's centered. So we're just gonna go from the right side all the way over, 6'3". Well, not really centered. It's more to the left, but 6'3". We'll put our marker down. I'm going to erase some of these guides so that we don't get them mixed up. From this right part of our house here, from the front, I'm going to click. I'm going to go over 5 foot. From that 5 foot mark, we're going to go over 7'9". And then if you did it correctly, from this point over should be 4'3", and that lines up with that wall. Just kind of verify that we did it correctly. So let's go ahead and mark in these 2 parts of our house. Remember, after we draw one, we can hit escape in order to get rid of our connecting line. Let's go ahead and erase our guides. And so now we have all of our marks for where our windows are located at, okay? And they're outside of the group, so we can easily go in there and erase things. So now that we have all that, let's go ahead and start placing the widths of our house, or the widths of our windows, and we're going to use these guides in order to help us do that. That's the reason why we put those markers in there. That way all of our guides and everything isn't all over the place, and so it makes things nice and clean for us. Over here in our outliner panel, right click, go to Edit Group. So now we're inside the wall group. This first window is going to be a width of 48 inches. And so for these, we're just going to do a straight width of the 40 inches. Now, we're not going to add any kind of extra dimensions for the rough opening. So we'll go in here and we'll half that. So we'll do 24 on one side, 24 on the other, and that will equal out to our 48 inches. Our next one for our bathroom, that is a B door. So for this one, it is only 18 inches wide. So we're going to go 9 inches to each side. It's just a small little window in the bathroom. So we have those two. Let's take our rectangle tool. We're going to come in here and draw in our rectangle. Hit the E key for the eraser and just erase the front line. Over here to the closet, this is a C door. So if you're looking at the window schedule, this is a C door, so it is a width of 12 inches. So we're going to go to each side 6 inches. One thing to keep in mind with these right here, a lot of times, so randomly it will not allow you to draw a guide. So if there's ever a chance that you're in here and you're clicking on a center point or an edge and you're trying to make a guide and it doesn't, just come off to the side a little bit, somewhere that's not a center point, and redraw it. For whatever reason, SketchUp tends to be finicky when it comes to the tape measure and those center points and stuff like that. But this window is overall 12 inches wide, so take our rectangle tool and do just what we did with the other two and erase that front line. Don't erase the back line, just the front. I'm also going to erase those guides. Go around. Both of these are F windows. So on this side, this side, they are the width of 36. So we're going to go from on each side 18. And to verify, we can go 36 inches, and it lines up. This one's the same thing, so 18 inches on each side. So when you're doing tape measure, make sure that you're doing it from some random point. Never do the tape measure from a corner. And I try to avoid going from the midpoint as well, because at the end it tends to be finicky. So try to do some other point where the marker is red, and that way nothing wrong will happen, and it's going to work every time. Okay, but it'll never work whenever you're going from a corner. It's only going to measure things. So let's go in here with our rectangle tool, draw in our rectangles for both of these windows. Go over, we have this window over here in our closet. This one is an E window, so it's a 48-inch square window. So 24. Rectangle tool, again, a rectangle tool is a keyboard shortcut of R. The eraser tool is E. So doing those will really help speed up your process. I'm going to erase these guides so they don't get on our way. Tape measure is a T. And these next two windows are D windows, which are 60 inches. So we're going to go 30 inches to each side. If you ever misclick somewhere, like if I click here, just hit escape, and that undoes things. So that one was 60. This one is the same thing. These are matching windows. So 30 on one side, we go 30 on the other. Rectangle tool. Again, if you ever mess up, it's not a big deal. If I mess up like that, hold down Control, hit Z, undoes it. You can also come up here to undo it. You can also use Alt Backspace, but Control Z works with almost pretty much every single program, even when our internet or browsers and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I tend to use all the time. But eraser tool, erase our points. And now we have all of our window openings. So let's right click, close group, and we'll come through here and erase our little guides that we created. So at this point, we do have all of our openings for our doors and windows. So now our next step will be bringing up the walls, and then we'll put in our roof. That way we kind of do the exterior. And then we'll really get started working on the interior part of our house. This concludes this episode. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos on this playlist and on my YouTube channel for both SketchUp Pro and SketchUp for Schools, along with Adobe tutorials.